Hello everyone, I am Felicity B. Batuan and my topic is all about historical knowledge limited by incompleteness of the records. Most human affairs happen without leaving vestiges or records of any kind behind them. The past, having happened, has perished forever without occasional traces. Only a small part of what happened in the past was ever observed, and only a part of what was observed in the past was remembered by those who observed it. Only a part of what was remembered was recorded. Only a part of what was recorded has survived. Only a part of what was survived has come to the historian's attention. Only a part of what has come to their attention is credible. Only a part of what is credible has been grasped and can be expounded or narrated by the historians. As you all can see, this whole thing is like a domino effect. While this is all happening, the information gathered is breaking down into smaller pieces, so only a part of the past was observed. Therefore, the historian has an external object to study. It is not the perished history that actually happened, but the surviving records of what happened. In other words, the object that the historian studies is not only incomplete, it is markedly variable as records are lost or rediscovered. Next is history as subjective process of recreation. Historian must do what he can to restore the total past of mankind. He has no way of doing it but in terms of his own experience. That experience, however, has taught him two things. First is that yesterday is different from today in some ways as well as the same as today in others. And second is that his own experience is both like and unlike others. This means that it is not alone his memories interpreted in the light of his own experience, but also the memories of other people as well. Historians' aim is verisimilitude with God. Historians' aim is verisimilitude with regard to the perished past, so this means that it is a subjective process. When we say verisimilitude, it means, in other words, reconstruction. So his aim is a reconstruction with regard to the perished past. He tries to get close an approximation to the truth about the past as constant correction of his mental images will allow. At the same time, recognizing that that truth has in fact eluded him forever. On the other hand, insofar as historians have dealt with human as well as physical traces, his responsibility shifts from the obligation to acquire a complete knowledge of the irrecoverable past by means of the surviving evidence to that the recreating a very similar image of much of the past as the evidence makes recognizable. So this means that they analyze the surviving evidences to make or recreating a very similar image of the past as the evidence makes recognizable. So history becomes only that part of the human past which can be meaningfully reconstructed from the available records from inferences regarding their setting. That's all for my part, and the next part will be discussed by my groupmates. Relevance of history. History provides us a sense of our own identity. So this means that it is essential for all of us to understand ourselves and the world around us. History helps us better understand the present. By understanding the past, we can somehow understand the present better. History or good history is a corrective for misleading analogies and lessons of the past. History enables us to understand the tendencies of humankind, social institutions, and all aspects of human conditions. History can help one develop tolerance and open-mindedness. History provides the basic background for many disciplines, and history can be also entertainment, a form of entertainment. The careful study of history teaches one many critical skills. In all cases, understanding history is integral to a good understanding of the condition of being human that allows human build and as may well be necessary also to change upon a secure foundation. All living people live in the here and now, but it took a long unfolding history to get everything to now, or in the present. And that history is located in time-space, which holds this cosmos together and which frames both the past and the present. So, as what George Santanaya's quote says, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This means that studying history enables us to develop better understanding of the world in which we live. And if we heed Santana's warning, then remembering history and learning important lessons from it should help us to avoid previous mistakes and prevent previous misdeeds from happening again. That's all for our report. Thank you, everyone.
Many of us may find history uninteresting at all, but studying the world of history is also enjoyable. Why? History makes us knowledgeable and helps us to understand everything around us. If we didn't know about the history of our very own country, which is Philippines, then we wouldn't acknowledge our heroes who fought for our generation's freedom. Have you all ever asked yourselves how humans became humans? It's history that can only explain and satisfy your curiosity about that. Everything going around us have history. May it be the history of your family, the history of the world, the history of other countries, or even be friends with someone by the history of their ancestors. History is actually interesting if you go deeper around it. It is like having a conversation with someone whom you just met but you don't really know what their names are. Historical method and historiography define. History is a topic that many find it boring to study or a waste of time. But there is more to studying history than meets the eye. What is history? History is the knowledge of and the study of the past. It is the story of the past and a form of collective memory. Why study history? History is important to study because it is essential for all of us in understanding ourselves and the world around us. There is a history of every field and topic, from medicine to music to art. History allows us to comprehend more about our world, the society and other people, and our identity. Our world history gives us a very clear picture of how the various aspects of society, such as technology, governmental systems, and even society, has whole worked in the past, so we understand how it came to work the way it is now. Society and other people. Studying history allows us to observe and understand how people and societies behave. Identity. History can help provides us with a sense of identity. This is actually one of the main reasons that history is still taught in schools and around the world. Historiography is the study of historical writing. Can very simple be defined as the history of history, meaning historiography is the study of how history was written, by whom, and why it was recorded as such. Moreover, it is a look at it and how historical events have been interpreted by historians over time and why. It also refers to the theory and history of historical writing. Why is historiography important? Historiography Historiography is important for a wide range of reasons. First, it helps us understand why historical events have been interpreted so different over time. In other words, historiography helps us examine not only history itself but also the broader overlying characteristics that shape the recording of history itself. Characteristics of historiography. Rationality. It is being a modern era. The research is scientific and unbiased. Proof of reading. Finding sources is now easy with the modern technology. Growth of knowledge. With new researchers, the field of historiography has become a vast subject. Ultimately, historiography gives us an appreciation of how factors that shape and alter the recording of history shape and alter our interpretation of it as a result.
For now, I'm going to discuss about the imagination in historiography. The historian is not permitted to imagine things that could not reasonably have happened. For certain that we should later examine him imagine things that might have happened. So when we talk about the imagination is when you think or imagining things that it's possible happened or it's already happened. So when we are a historian, we can think anything we want or hindi natin maaaring isipin ang mga bagay na hindi makatwirang nangyari. So kapag ikaw ay historian, maaari mo lang isipin ang mga bagay na importante o mga pangyari na nangyari na so hindi mo itong maaaring dagdagan or something like that. It is platitude that the historian who knows contemporary life best will understand past life best. Since the human mentality has not changed noticeably in historic time, present generation can understand past generation in terms of their own experiences. Those historians can make the best analogs and contrasts who have the best greatness awareness of the possible analogs and contrasts. That is the best wildness experiences, imagination, wisdom, and knowledge or how to transfer them to an understanding of the past. So, when you are historian, kailangan you have the knowledge or dapat ikaw ang may pinaka nakakaalam sa kapanahunan ng buhay at higit na nakakaintindi sa nakaraang buhay. So, like sa present generation, so maaari ka magkwento about sa nangyari sa past generation kasi you have the experiences of it. History of historical methods. Historical methods, however, that not only can be made the subject of rules and regulation for every 2,000 years has been. Thucydides, who is the 5th century BC, wrote his famous history of the Peloponnesian War, consistently told his reader how he gathered his material and what tests he used to separate truth. So, Thucydides is one of the historians in 15th century before Christ. Siya ang sumulat sa kasaysayan ng Girang Peloponnesia. Ibinahagi niya ang istoryang ito ng may konsensya. Sinabi niya sa kanyang mga mambabasa kung paano niya nabuo ito, kung anong pagsubok ang kanyang hinarap just to make sure na it's really happened. Pinaghiwalay ang katotohanan sa katahang isip. How hard he make the story. Historians have written briefly or a length upon history method change to see these days from fiction. We have the Seleucian, si Evan Caldon, si Budin, si Mobley, si Voltaire, si Ranki. They are the historian in Thucydides' days rather. Though sometimes their study have dealt with the scope rather than the techniques of history. With Ernest Bergham's lame bones del historian methodi yun del Chins Philosophia. Kasama nila Sir Ian Bergham's, which is the modern and more academic discussion of the subject maybe may be said to be have begun. So, methods of history. Number one is the selection of the student for investigating. So, isa sa paraan ng kasaysayan ay ang pagpili ng isang mag-aral para sa pagsisiyasat. So, kailangan mayroong mag-aaral o na magsisiyasat sa kuan pananaliksik. Number two is the collection of the probable sources of information on the subject. So, kailangan mayroon kang mapagkukunan ng information sa paksang iyon. Kung ano yung uh, sisiyasat na ginagawa mo. Number three, the examination of the sources for genuineness, either in whole or in the part. So kailangan mo suriin ang mga mapagkukunan or when you have the person you interview about the story, kailangan mo suriin if nagiging totoo yun, magiging totoo yun o totoo ang kanyang mga sinasabi. Dapat is the extraction of the credible particular from the sources or part of the sources. Prove genuine. So, ito ang pagkuha ng mga kapanipaniwala na detalye mula sa pinagmulan. So, kailangan mo suriin if totoo yung kinuhanan mo ng mga information or hindi. Pinaka-importante yun para malaman mo ang totoo or sa katahang isip pareha sa ginawa ni Juan Thucydides. So that's all.